Hello, everyone, and welcome to Fuel by Growth. This is the podcast for purpose driven female entrepreneurs and professionals. In today's episode, we have Benedikta Satya. She has been a noteworthy leader in the technology consulting space, and you may know her from her work as the country director at Searce Indonesia. But Bene can also be credited with contributions to some of the big corporations like SAP and IBM. Bene is responsible for scaling up Searce Indonesia's business goals and is highly recognized for her contribution to strategic accounts expansion over the past 2 years at Searce. She holds a marketing degree from President University and currently resides in Jakarta. Well, thanks for joining us today, Benedikta, and you have such an
Hey,
impressive story.
Adriana, thank you so much for the opportunity to being in a podcast. So to be honest with you, this is my first podcast, so I'm very excited.
Well, I'm sure it's going to be great. So, tell me more about what has been the driving force to get you where you are today.
Wow, okay, it's a long story though. Like once I graduated from the university back then in the days, the most exciting job is to work for the oil and gas company. So when I graduated, I was like, okay, I need to find some oil and gas company and work in it as a marketing because I was from a marketing major before.
Yeah.
And I remember one of my lecturer always said that marketing is not selling. Selling is only a part of marketing. But ended up here I am as a sales, on the road. So I started my I started my tech journey when in 2010. So I was working with one of the biggest local SI company in Indonesia, and since then I was keeping my career record in all the tech companies until here I'm in Sears. So before Sears, I was with, as you mentioned in my introduction, that I was with two big corporations like IBM, SAP, where I learned a lot on those two companies. They're very big, giant companies and already been in the market for like almost 100 years. So I got a lot of knowledge, a lot of experience when I was in those two companies. And when I'm in Sears and got this responsibility to grow Sears business in Indonesia since 2021, I was very excited. And as this Series, we are only on doing stuff on cloud business. So that's where the future is. That's why I'm taking this opportunity, this role, and then trying to make Sears bigger and bigger in Indonesia for now.
Yeah, that's really exciting. So, why technology? Let's start from the very beginning. Why do you think technology? Because of course, like you've mentioned, your first option
Yeah,
was the oil industry. So, what made you consider technology?
this is where the destiny brings me. So I didn't know that I will be in this technology business when I was joined the company back in 2010. They were asking me, so what do you know about IT? And my answer was, I only know laptop, PC, and printers, nothing else. but, but then I was there, and I always have a belief that if you are already been somewhere, you need to do everything to survive, right? So back then, I keep learning and learning. I need to understand more about technology. Back then, we were talking about all the on-premises technologies like servers, storage, networks, this and that. So I was starting from zero, like really zero knowledge. But then I keep learning until I become in this position, in this place right now. And technologies are very exciting things because it kept growing like years in years. And then if you see now, we are all in cloud technologies, we are in a cloud environment. We never seen that like 10 years back, right? Especially for Indonesia. I know outside Indonesia is different, but Indonesia, we are a slow learner in a sense. But
Yeah, yeah,
when we see like, okay, right, and when you see that, okay, in other countries they already grow so fast because of this kind of technology, now we are following them. Especially on the pandemic era, I can really see that the technology awareness of Indonesian people on the pandemic era growing so fast, like even faster than other countries, I believe, because they need to survive, right?
yeah,
And the
yeah.
only way to survive is to make use of the technologies. So that's where this bring us into like one of the biggest startups countries right now. That's where it came from. That's what I see.
Yeah. So how has been the journey, so to say, post-pandemic, right? So do you see that there is a bit more like advancement in terms of the use of technology? It did have an impact in terms of like creating more awareness for people to start using more technology. Is there more investment as well? How is that working currently?
That's actually the very positive impact that I can see after pandemic. Like right now, a lot of startups coming into the market, and they are rely a lot on technology. Why? Because they rely a lot on the data part. Like in Indonesia, you know that our landscape of the country is very big, and then we are separated by all the islands and this and that.
Yeah.
So you cannot really rely on meeting one each other every time, right? You have to make use of the technology. You have to make use how to build that long distance relationship works in a business life, in everything. But when the pandemic hits, I see that everyone is pushing themselves to get more aware about how technology can help us doing stuff, and like it or not, they have to make use of that during the pandemic. So after the pandemic, they actually see the advantages or the easier way on doing stuff using a technology, so they continue doing it right now. And I can see the awareness, the knowledge, and everything is growing up so fast and so well for people in
Yeah.
Indonesia right now. So blessing in disguise, I can say, for me
Exactly.
as a tech
Exactly.
vendors to say.
And as a tech fan,
Yep.
exactly. I think it's very important. So we need to see a bit the positive side that happened in this case, which is it pushed people toward moving towards more knowledge, more awareness, and more
Yeah.
possibilities. So I think that's the way we need to see it. I mean, obviously at Searce you
Correct.
have a lot of responsibility, and then in your position. So how's your work-life balance?
Okay, it's a very interesting one. So in Sears, when I take this responsibility, this role, we were so small still. Like it's only three in the company, where we are having we have a target to achieve and everything and that. So if you I joined Sears since September last year,
Hmm.
2021. So during my first quarter in Sears, I don't have work like life balance. What I can say is I need to prove myself to be able to achieve the target given by the company, and to show them, okay, I can do this. I can prove to you that I can get the number that we are trying to get. But after that, we have growth a lot in the people in the company, and from three now currently we have 12 in my team. So from now, I can see that we do have this work-life balance, meaning that we are, so in a tech company we don't have that responsibility to be in the office like 9 to 5,
Yeah.
right? Because we are more into like giving a solution to our customer, meeting them for a discussion, this and that. So the message that I tell my team, and also the thing that I'm trying to do with my life, is to prioritize all the works, so I can still have on my time for my own. Okay, I'm not married yet, so I don't have that responsibility to have like taking care of my own family, but I do have my family, like my parents and all. So until now, what I can see and I can say is there's nothing that you cannot do about your private life, because here in Sears you're not like pushing to do all the things right now this time, whatever, because it's just about how you prioritize your things. So as long as you can manage your time wisely and everything, work-life balance is one of the thing that we can do here in Sears.
Yeah.
So we don't have that kind of bad issues around that area.
Absolutely. I think that's really important to have this work-life balance. At least at the end of the day, it's something that if you have the possibility
Yep.
to manage it by yourself, then it's a bit the responsibility of how do you again prioritize, as you mentioned. So what
Mm-hmm.
about, let's talk about the role female in technology. As we know, there is quite a shortage, especially in the leadership positions. So if you see it
Mm-hmm.
like statistics from all over the world, the percentage it's still so tiny. What is your opinion on that?
Mm-hmm. Okay. So if you see in Indonesia, actually, I can see now a lot of leaders are women though. If you see, if you can check, like Indonesian IBM country manager is women now. The country manager of Google Cloud Indonesia is a woman now, and it's a lot coming right now. But the stereotype is still there because if you see like, okay, you're reporting to a woman boss, sometimes the people having that kind of stereotype, oh, okay, it's gonna be tougher than reporting
Oh,
to the
really? Is
guy
that?
boss, something like that. Yeah, that's one. The second one is, I think the reason why is because some of the women, they don't really want to take that high responsibility just because of they do have their own responsibility at home with a family and all. But for me, I can see that if you want to be a leader, if you want to be, if you're saying that why there's lack of a women leader in the market, this and that, the answer is, I think the male also feeling the same, like why now everyone is telling us to have like more women leader, this that, but sometimes women, they don't want to take the male's job. So I think we also need to fix that if you want to be in the same level with a male. So then you have to do whatever it takes to do whatever it is, right? So you cannot be separated on, okay, you're a guy, I'm a girl, so you can do that, I cannot do this. But you want to get to that position as a leader. So I never differentiate myself as a woman compared with a man, this and that. And also when I look for my team, or when I look for when I'm on a job interview and I have either male or female boss, this and that, I never think about anything because I never want to think that we are divided by our gender whatsoever. Like for me, it's all just the same. And yeah, it's all back to your capabilities, to your skills and whatever, to prove to the society that you can do things. Then it's, yeah, goes from there.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
how I see.
yeah. Yeah, so what would be, say, the reasons women don't want? So that's quite an interesting, because that's quite an interesting statement that you made, the fact that you don't see as gender different, you don't differentiate as gender. So there's still the difference, right? So how we can move
Mhm.
from that difference and attract more women to, say, leadership positions, or to encourage them to get more into leadership positions.
Yep. I think that's about the mindset itself. Like for some women, they think that if they took a big responsibility, they will not be able to take care of the family. Whereas again, when we are talking about work-life balance, it's not supposed to be like that, right? So you can take care of your company, but you can, at the same time, you can also have time for your family. So that kind of mindset that you need to change. That's, but again, I cannot talk much about it because I'm not married. I don't have my own family, so I don't know on that part. Because me as a single person, I can see that career is still my priority. And the way I see it is, as long as I can do things, I'll do it. As long as you know that I'm capable on doing things, then I'm okay. So I will say yes to whatever the opportunity have come into me. So yeah, that's the thing. But if you're talking about the most women with a family, maybe there's gonna be another thing because of the consideration, the expectation coming to them as a mother, as a wife, that might some different things to say, to be honest with you. But I'm not in the position that can tell you those things because I'm not there yet.
Yeah, I mean, we
So
cannot
yeah,
talk about,
that's
of
what I can
course,
say.
like situation we don't know, right? But I think one interesting thing is, sometimes, and from other conversations, sometimes we, even women with families, because of those kind of things where people say, oh, but maybe your family is a priority, might not be considered for certain type of positions higher
Mm,
up. And that's something we need to also change, because it's not up of on like what we assume that women would have as a responsibility, rather than saying,
yeah,
well, let's ask her, right? So I think it's important to move the needle and try to get more people into technology, no matter of the gender. Is not the gender aspect that might bring a lot of, say, change. Is more the diversity that you're creating within a group, diversity of thought, diversity of, having different type of input. So that type of combination, you kind of achieve it when you have more equality, more diversity, people from different backgrounds, different ideas, different genders, name it.
Exactly. So I was coming from a all girls high school back then. So for me, everything you just have to get it done by yourself, like it or not, no matter what, because we don't have options, right?
Yeah.
So that's the mindset that brings me here actually. Like for me, it's not that so I will think about what can I do first before asking for others help, something like that. So yeah, that's kind of a mindset. Back again, what you're saying is true. Like that's the thing that we need to change, how to move the needle on people who have that kind of mindset, thinking that if they're taking this they cannot do that, but it's not always like that, right?
Yeah, yeah, exactly, exactly. So, I mean, again, you've been working for one of from the major companies, IT companies in the world. If you were to say give advice to women to get, and follow with your career path, what would you recommend them?
For me it's going to be like I mean, put the short target for your life. Like for me, I was always put what next. It's not like what in 10 years time. No, like what next. Okay, after this, what do you want? What next? So one step at a time. Like thinking about how you want to grow yourself from this very point to the next point, and what are you trying to achieve, and try to be in that small step, but you have to be consistent on it, and have a timeline. Okay, in 1 year time I'll be this, and the next 2 years time I will that. That's what I can say, and see what give you the more peaceful feelings, and to get, I mean, don't take anything to pushing you to the limit, to say that giving you depression, giving you stress and anything. There's a lot of option in this world. There's a lot of option in this business, in the technology, for example. Like I've been in a position where I push myself to the limit until I just have to realize that, okay, if I cannot do this, means that I cannot do that. Doesn't mean that I cannot do these things in other place, right? Maybe it's just not the place, it's just not the time. So come to that realization, don't stop trying, and give yourself a reward if no one else giving you that, because you've been this far. It's because of something that you already that you yourself know, right? So
Yeah, 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 yeah.
for me, don't be too hard on yourself, and try to have a small plans in your life. That's all.
Yeah, yeah, and have fun while doing it, right?
Have fun while doing it, for sure. That's the most important part.
Okay, Benny. So,
True.
just a last question before we wrap up. These are the things that women need to do. Enjoy, of course. Do as much as they can, not forgetting that there is a boundary, and be aware of that boundary. But what are some challenges you've had, and how did you overcome them? I think that's quite a big lesson for everyone to learn.
Challenges will come in a very different way with different people. So for me, sometimes I was not coming from a tech background. I was coming from from a economy background, to say, like marketing major, right? So one of the biggest challenges is to keep up with the technology itself, like the knowledge, because in tech there's a lot of tech wordings and all stuff that you need to understand.
Yeah,
So
it can be
spend
quite
more, yeah.
complex.
Exactly, it's quite complex, and it's not easy to for you to understand like what it is.
Well, yeah.
So so at first maybe I can say read more. Once you read it like many times, it will get into your mind for sure. And talk more, talk to people, like with the experts, with anyone. I know that it will be like nonsense for you to understand what they are saying at first, but along the way you'll get to understand some part of it, and that's okay. Like that's the thing what I see, because as a practitioner in this business, one of the challenges for you not to be able to understand what the tech people are saying. So
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
the first. And the second one is how to compete with the competitors in the market, because now everyone is playing in the same field.
yeah,
So how to build your value to differentiate yourself, to differentiate your company, compare with others. So that those kind of value that we need to bring. And also in Indonesia, it's very important for you to know people. Like people are working with people, not with a company. So the most important part is building your networks wisely and in a good intentions and all. You might not need that person now, but in the future you will never know.
You never
Right? So
know. Yeah, yeah.
just that, like, you never know. Like, spread your wings and build your networks wisely on that part.
Okay. Okay. Great. Great. Thank you. All right. So, any last advice you'd like to give our audience before wrapping up?
Um, maybe one more thing for me, it's only like nothing is impossible, at least once you try. It's not necessarily gonna be successful at first, but there is gonna be a successful story for you in the future. So just keep believing. It's like the High School Musical song, right? Don't stop.
Don't stop and keep believing. I love it.
And keep believing.
Yeah. I
I watched
love
it
it.
once actually already.
And it stuck. So the message is out there. Great, great.
Exactly.
Love it.
Yeah, I
I
think
love it.
that's all I have.
Yeah, yeah. Well, Bennett, thank you very much for your time. It's been amazing to meet you. It's been amazing to know your story. For the audience out there, we are going to post the links to Searce if you want to visit, and maybe people can
Thank you.
reach you via LinkedIn, Benedikta.
Sure. For
Sounds great.
sure. I'll give you my LinkedIn page later on. And thank you for the opportunity, Adriana. Like, this is good. It's a good conversation with you, and happy to have this with you. Hope that we can have another episodes next time.
Another collaboration. That would be lovely. Thank you.